All right. So, welcome to October's Roundtable for Twin Valley. Mike, I'll let you move to the next slide. We'll start with our opening.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
All right, thank you, Mike. Go ahead. For anybody who's new to Roundtable, and for everybody else who doesn't remember, when we do our breakouts, so that we know what room to put you in, please rename yourself that IDs you as being with the troop or with a pack. Is there anybody here today, first time to Roundtable? If you are, please say hi and tell me where you're from. So I guess everybody's been here before. Okay. If you have any comments, questions after the fact, you can get a hold of me. I'm Peter Zizka, and you get me at zizkap@hotmail.com. Okay, Mike, go ahead and move forward. Hot topics. You've probably all seen the result of the merger is there is a reshuffling of the facilities, and so it's been decided by the Golden Gate Area Council Executive Board that the San Leandro and the Pleasant Hill properties will be sold. And it looks like from what I read, there'll be a sort of a central hub and then several smaller supporting satellite facilities. There wasn't a lot of detail on that as of yet, and I guess that information will come out as it develops. The other thing, you've all seen this from past roundtables. If you donate to a good cause, that QR code there, and I'll say this, if you go to the Twin Valleys website and download this presentation, you can either click on the QR code or you can scan it, and it will take you to information about donating to then get yourself the founder's shoulder patch for the Golden Gate Area Council. And in this presentation, all QR codes have an embedded hyperlink. So if you get the presentation, you can also just click on it. So go ahead and move on, Mike. PAIA, Dan Walters and John Finolio will be talking a little bit about PAIA and how it relates to us this year. So I'll let you guys run with that, please.
Okay, Peter, thank you. I think I'll start. I'm serving as the Golden Gate Area Council's president. It's really quite an honor, and I'm really enjoying the opportunity. Also with us tonight is Paul Shimatake, and he serves as the council commissioner. So he'll be here to help answer questions and deal with this issue. Before I jump too far into PAIA, a couple of other things. One, I want to let you know that I had the honor of serving as the Twin Valley District Commissioner some 20 years ago. So there are some old familiar faces and a whole lot of new, and that seems like the right mix. I'm glad to see that. There was also on an earlier session about the sale of the 2 buildings. I just want to put a little more when we looked at our new administrative needs and training needs, meeting needs, what we found is that we've got about 35,000 square feet of office space. We have administrative about 5,000 square feet if you take it back to just truly administrative. We've committed to having a DE in every district, but not in them being at the headquarters building, but rather in being out in their district. And so that is one big change in the amount of space we need. We put together an ad hoc committee. One of the things that they quickly came is that there are many options for places to hold meetings and trainings, including Camp Herms, which it's up in the El Cerrito Hills. It's a great training facility. We'll be holding board meetings there and other larger meetings, and I think we'll see a lot of council meetings. So we're seeing the amount of our total council assets that are held in physical property, and being able to turn that over to program support for the council, which leads us to the PAIA discussion. And I want to tell you a couple of things about what has happened in the merger, and that leads us to the discussion on PAIA. We brought three councils together. We immediately saved $700,000 a year, 2 scout executive salaries, 2 national fees, 2 audits, and 2 sets of insurance. So those are recurring every year still have as the Golden Gate Area Council compared to 3 separately operating councils. However, the merger, of course, didn't happen in a vacuum. We've been dealing with place issues. We've been dealing with the bankruptcy, which of course we've all seen the press releases and PR campaigns on that. The impact it's having on our ability to raise funds is substantial, including Friends of Scouting. So, and to just say the obvious right up front, we really screwed up on the communication with PAIA. There were several turns over the last year, even pre-merger, on PAIA that just were not correct. Unfortunately, it was, I think, let out that the PAIA was in lieu of Friends of Scouting, and that was never the intent of the board of the San Francisco Council, but nonetheless, that's how it got communicated. When we came together, we believed that we would not need to assess the PAIA, that the monies coming in from the new program fee, the CPF, which was approved by the National Board of Directors this spring, would help to fill that void. The reality has been we had to not only cancel our summer and day camps, but refund all of the cash in preparation for that. Yet, of course, all our costs continued on. We still have, horses to feed, facilities to maintain, range, et cetera. So we took a big swing. Over a third of our budget was taken up in those actions. Add to that the fundraising challenges we've had. We really felt we needed to come back and retrench and ask all of the members of the Golden Gate Area Council to continue on with what their commitment had been to the councils prior to our merger. In the case of Twin Valley, of course, that means PAIA. In the case, say, of Briones, it means, very aggressive Friends of Scouting campaigns. Alameda also used Friends of Scouting. So we are asking you to stay on your original plan. And I know it's hard because each one of the units are facing the same issues the council is in terms of COVID, in terms of not being able to do an outdoor program. Worse yet, you can't even get in the same room to run a troop or a PAC meeting. We understand that. But we are asking you to make good on the PAIA commitment if you possibly can. I want to tell you what the penalty is going to be for not maintaining the PAIA. It's simple. We will still register all of your youth. We will still register all of your adults. We will still recharter your unit. We will still give you council support, professional and volunteer support, whether or not you make the PAIA. So what I want you to know is that we need the funds. right now, even with the significantly reduced staff, paid staff, we are having a cash crunch. That's one of the reasons we accelerated the rationalization of our office facilities. So we've got 35,000 square feet. We're using a couple thousand of it right now. So we're accelerating that to try and generate the cash we need to get through this bankruptcy and COVID. But we're also going to need your help. And the council is, if you'll forgive me, the council's still on a strong financial footing, but we don't have any cash, right? It's tied up in facilities. It's tied up in endowment giving. It's tied up in restricted funds. So what we need to get through this is your assistance proceeding with PAIA, Friends of Scouting, you can call it whatever you want. But that's where we are. The bottom line is I botched the communication on this, starting from well before the merger and then after the merger. But what I'm asking you to do is recognize that the council still needs the funds to operate. We're tightening our belt. We're going through a third round of cost cutting. We're getting down to really what we think is the absolute bare minimum needed to continue to operate the council. So with that background, John is here, our professional. John's a great Scout executive. He's got many years in the program. He understands what the units are facing. And then Paul Shimatake, of course, is our council commissioner. So feel free to address any questions you've got to any of the three of us, and we'll do our best to answer. Is there anything else that you wanted on this subject?
Certainly for me, you pretty well explained why the PAIA is here, and I don't think from everything we're seeing anybody can really argue with the necessity for it. So, and it sounds like you have an audience that's understanding it.
Well, I greatly appreciate that. It's a subject that, of course, we could become very emotional over. And I greatly appreciate that you all are at the bigger picture and see how we make sure we come out the other end of COVID and the bankruptcy with a strong program. Another thing that maybe some of you haven't realized, because we really haven't communicated it well, the Golden Gate Area Council is the 10th largest council in the nation. Our recruiting this fall already has got us up in the upper councils in the nation. We're doing a great job, and that's happening not because of staff, although I think Lou and his gang are doing a great job, but it's because of what the units are doing, what the district committees are doing, ensure that we continue to deliver program. Because let's face it, we only exist to deliver program to the youth, and if we have them, the youth will join and the youth will stay. So I want to congratulate you all. You know, the Golden Gate Area Council is doing well on its recruitment efforts. Retention could be a challenge. I was in a meeting day before yesterday where the National Chief Operating Officer opined that they anticipate huge losses in the Scouts BSA membership nationwide, yet Golden Gate Area Council is holding, we're going to have losses, I think, but we're holding up very well and we're still recruiting in that area. Thank you, and keep up the good work on that.
Thank you very much.
We have a question from Kimberly Carlson.
Thank you. I just have a question in regards to the fact that, I mean, I appreciate that you said you guys screwed up on the communication, because I will tell you, I was quite frustrated. And when we had our committee meeting, you know, there were others who also expressed that frustration about the fact that, wait, we were told we wouldn't have to, and now all of a sudden we do have to, and it seems unfair because we're all one council now, but yet we're being told we have to do PAIA. So I appreciate the admission of the screw up.
But my question is, I guess, so I still don't know, is this something that is going to continue to happen? Or is this now, once we do this, okay, we're done and now we don't have to do it again? It's just the new increased dues? I would like to have an understanding of that.
Well, we have a PAIA in the future. That will go away. We will be asking all units to run a Friends of Scouting campaign. I think that, you know, scouters are the scouting. And so we're actively out in the community, but we should be raising about a third of our total revenue from the Friends of Scouting program. We'll continue to ask all units to do that.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. Is it fair to say that PAIA came as a result of the lack of participation in Friends of Scouting?
Yeah, Jeff. The Legacy San Francisco Council saw a 10-year steady reduction in Friends of Scouting. A large number of units were not willing to even ask their families to participate. And so that just meant that the burden was being shared by a smaller and smaller group families. And so the board decided that it really needed to share that burden more evenly across the membership. And my hope right now, my belief actually, is that we'll be able to get the families all across the council now to re-engage in the Friends of Scouting process. And that's what's going to keep us moving.
Yeah, let me also add that to give a little color background, as Dan mentioned, Mount Diablo and Alameda were using Friends of Scouting. They did not have a PAIA, but the Friends of Scouting ask in Mount Diablo was $250 per family. So and the way obviously Friends of Scouting works is that is also a voluntary contribution, but that was the ask, and many families did pay that amount. So and I don't know if information has been kind of flowing back to all of you, but as we kind of near this third quarter, we're starting to see more districts achieve their FOS goals. So that is one of the things which, going back to shared responsibilities coming into the merger, the Mount Diablo units and families, Alameda units and families are living up to their responsibility as well. Alameda hit their FOS goal. I saw an announcement about, I think it was Muir and Briones had hit theirs. So there's several districts that have achieved that. And so it's not just something specific to the Legacy San Francisco districts. Okay, everybody's, it's a shared load. It's just how we're meeting that is at least heading into now. It's more the way that the council's pre-merger had approached it, and then as of recharter, we're level setting across the board. So it'll be uniform going forward, which is something that we as a Golden Gate Area Council are now able to control.
Thanks, Paul. Nice to see you again. I haven't seen you in quite a while.
Good seeing you.
You know, the other thing that's important to understand is that ask figure of $250. You know, for those that don't know, you know, at an organizational level, you have to plan your budget. And that $250 ask was set because the council realizes that in Friends of Scouting, there's only about a 50% participation. If it was 100% participation, that number could go down to $125, correct?
Sure.
That's correct. It's probably less than that. So if everybody had participated, that's where Friends of Scouting was a decade ago, and we're on this steady slide of
Right.
the way in which the younger families, the Gen X, or is it Gen Z now, that are approach their giving, and so I think that is a reflection of why the approach has shifted also for the Golden Gate Area Council.
And that slide was true for all districts, pretty much. There was across our new council now, all 14 districts.
Did we answer
Okay.
your question?
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank
If
you.
there's-
Thanks for inviting us. Stick around if it's okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for presenting. And if there are no other questions, then we'll move on. Mike, with the next slide. Journey to Excellence. So the big news out of that is because of all that's occurring with the shelter in place and the COVID virus, district and council Journey to Excellence, the program has been canceled for now. The unit level recognition program is still continuing. The criteria for a unit to earn their JTE and be able to award their shoulder patches, sleeve patches to their scouts. If you were to scan that QR code, you can get to what the new grading criteria is to be a unit that reaches JTE. And
Hey, Peter.
yeah,
Mr. Orthman had a question on JTE.
okay.
Did the criteria change for the camping requirements for those units and volunteer hours? Or had you not noticed, and I can look it up?
I do not remember that the hours of camping changed, but yeah, we will have to look them up.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Peter, I think what changed was the types of camping allowed. Like they'll allow backyard camping, that sort of stuff, because of shelter in place.
Got it.
Definitely look up the JTE forms though.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and move on there, Mike. So this month's safety theme talks of digital safety and online scouting activities. There's a fair amount of information provided by National. I didn't want to dive in it too much here, but I wanted to point you to where you could read more. So if you were to read that, scan that QR code, that'll take you to the National page for digital safety. And we've talked a little bit about this in some of our past roundtables, things like we still have a requirement for 2 deep while working online, working with a digital meeting room that has some controls, not where anybody can just jump in and different things like that. So there's a lot more to read. If you want to educate yourself some more, follow that QR code. And we'll go ahead and move on. So recharter time is coming up. In the next week or two, packets will start to be delivered. If you have not completed your unit roster, if you follow that QR code, that'll take you to where you can begin the process of completing your unit roster that's necessary for rechartering. And then there will be a remote session of how to recharter. It's November 5th, 7 p.m. And if you go to the Twin Valley website and go to our calendar, you will find the recharter training listed for November 5th. Click on that and you can sign up for the class there. So if there's no other questions, we'll go ahead and move on.
Hey, Peter,
Yeah.
I know with the new council, they're having all of the different branches having meetings on the first Thursday of every month. So if we can try to avoid scheduling stuff on the same night,
Oh,
would be helpful.
okay.
Thank you.
That's good to know.
In the future.
We can certainly work towards that. So avoid the first Thursday of every month, you said. Okay. Scouting for food. Matt, are you ready? We've actually got more to talk about than just this slide.
Oh yeah, you bet. We've got loads
Mike?
more. So actually, I want to have Miss Shannon Durbala kick us off if you're ready and willing.
Hi, everybody.
Okay, Mike's gonna pull up the slides that you sent out, Matt.
While Mike's working on pulling up those slides, I just want to take a minute to let you guys know that Scouting for Food is going to look a lot different this year, just like everything else, right? 2020. But just a reminder to have patience and grace with it from start to finish. I know we all have our ideas and our opinions, but we're doing exactly what the council wants us to do. I hope that you all can be on board with it. Matt's going to go into detail when he gets his slides up. And if you have any questions, we'll take them at the end. You guys can always email me. My email address is shannon.durbala@yahoo.com. I'll put it in the chat. It's first name dot last name @yahoo.com. And we'll answer your questions from now until November.
Here. So we all know Scouting for Food. We've done it before. And great news, we get to do it again, right? So this year we're going to do a new take on an old classic. It's kind of been our catchphrase out in the office, okay? So first of all, as always, I want to just say thank you, everybody. As Shannon said, for your patience and your understanding. We're in a brand new world, right? Which means we got to attack this with the brand new ideas and concepts. Also, I just want to say big thank you for your volunteer time as we try something new and we're going to figure this out together. Okay, so I've used this cute analogy before. I love using it. I'm going to use it again. I want you to take everything you know about Scouting for Food. I want you to put it in the green compost bin, right? This isn't the blue recyclable. This isn't the gray trash bin. This is the green compost, okay? Because the idea is still the same, right? We are still going to provide a service and we are still going to give food and donations to those who need it. The structure is going to grow anew from those old ideas. All right, so let's just hit, this is just the facts, okay? These are the things that are for certain. I will tell you, we are not going to print door hangers. Okay, I'm gonna say that one more time. We're not going to print door hangers, all right? I'll tell you another thing that we're going to do. Because we're not printing door hangers, that means we are not going to be doing anything on November 7th that facilitates an in-person activity. So we will not be going door to door and dropping any type of scouting agendas off on anybody's doorstep on November 7th, right? We will also not be collecting food from these doorsteps. So because we're not putting a flyer out, we're not going to be collecting food off these doorsteps. And I'll tell you one thing, I think, you can interpret this however you want. We will not be collecting clothing this year. Past 2 years, we collected clothing. This year, we will not be collecting clothing. And there was a whole lot of no's in that slide. So let's switch over to some yeses, some positives, all right? So I'll tell you what we are going to be doing. We are still going to have a food only, no clothing, a food only drop-off location on November 14th. I'll give you the time later, all right? And it's going to be for the community, members of our community, people who live in Twin Valley, to drop their donations off at this location on November 14th, all righty? Now, in addition, for those who think, maybe not that many people are gonna come and drop their food off, we are still offering a monetary virtual donation for the food bank. The food bank that Twin Valley will be helping is the Alameda County Community Food Bank, right? Now, how the heck are we going to get all this information out there, right? How are people supposed to know that they can drop food off on the 14th? And in addition, how are they going to know where to donate the money, right? Or donate the sites even? we are going to provide you with a PDF flyer for you to email, as well as we're going to give you social media content, right? So you can put it on Instagram, Twitter, Nextdoor. If there's a fourth one, Reddit, I don't know, whatever you want, right? We're going to give you all the information and these resources that you all can get it out there. And that's why we need your help in spreading the word. We've got plenty of contacts out of the council office, right? But what we don't have is a very strong network of social organizations that you all can provide as volunteers, right? So let me see if this is the next slide. Yeah, great. We're gonna go over tips for success. So for instance, how the heck are we, or you all, as volunteers, we as a district, going to get the word out about this? Well, we gotta share this flyer and we gotta share it more than once. We cannot just send an email, send a blanket email and hope, cross our fingers and pray that it's gonna work. Let me tell you, we send out a lot of emails out of the council office. How many of you actually read them all the way through? All right, I can only see 2 screens on my screen, so I'm getting maybe 1.5 hands. We need to send this bad boy out more than once. We're suggesting at least 7 days prior to the event, and then possibly even every day leading up to it, right? Now, who are we sending this flyer to? Because we're not asking for our parents to donate this money and these food. Now, of course, you can if you want to, right? But Scouting for Food has always been about engaging the community to benefit the community. So therefore, an easy target that you all can ask is your charter org representative, right? Can they put it in their church bulletin? Can they put it on their social media accounts? Can they put it on their websites? And of course, don't just send the email and then hope it works, right? Keep a tracker. Did they actually put it on there? Do you need to ping them again? Do you need to bug them again, right? We want to make sure that everybody gets this. Now, we don't need to stay so internal to the charter org reps. We don't need to stay internal to our scouting families. We need to think about the larger community. Do we have kids that are in Little League right now? Do we have kids that are in soccer? Are there chess groups? You already got Kumon, right? Any play group, any type of organization that your kid might belong to. Who can we send this flyer out to and get the word out, right? Because I think everybody can understand, right? When this pandemic started, there was probably a couple people that bought a pallet worth of tuna, and maybe they want to get rid of some of that tuna that they have in their garage. This is a great opportunity to share this with every Tom, Dick, and Harry out there that may want to participate. So furthermore, we can build a campaign, right? So once again, this gets back to the idea of like, we're not just putting this on social media once. We're not just sending this email out once. We can do many different opportunities. You can share a fun fact every day from the 7th to the 14th. Well, it's not a fun fact because it's about hunger, right? So you could share a fact about hunger and how COVID has increased the need for food almost 9 times in the Bay Area alone. That's a fact that you can put on your Monday newsletter, and you can adapt that fact every day, right? Something that we found very effective, especially in our popcorn sales, is to have a scout in uniform talking about how they believe their community is being impacted by certain activities, one of them being hunger, right? So that's also a great segue and an opportunity for me to talk about service hour ideas, right? Another big question that we've been getting is, how the heck are we supposed to earn service hours while this goes on? So scouts can make signs for their own neighborhood. You can make yard signs. You can make signs that go on telephone poles. You could ask your churches if you can put signs in their areas as well. Scouts can stand on the street corners that have the high traffic areas that are near the drop-off sites with these additional signs, right? They can have giant QR codes on them. So if people are driving by, walking by, they can snap a picture and donate later, or they can see the sign, go home, get that food, and come right back over. Now, scouts can also go to local businesses that are open, and they can ask to put the flyer in their window. Any local boutique shop, right, that's still open, coffee shops, Starbucks, Pete's, I don't care which coffee you like, I don't drink coffee. So therefore, whatever organization that you think will take our flyer, please send it in. And of course, in addition to those other local organizations, right, if there are churches or additional orgs that are accepting food in your area, for instance, I know there's a St. Vincent de Paul, there's a handful of churches in our chartered orgs that are also accepting food right now. We do not want to discriminate on who is getting the food. The point is we are trying to help the community. Therefore, right, if you do donate food and if you do use our flyers to share the idea to share food with other local organizations, please do and let me know how many cans you bring in, because we always want to know how we can make our processes more effective. Now, I'm going to slip right over that slide. I did it on purpose, okay? Our drop-off sites, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., November 14th. We've got one in Dublin. We've got one in Livermore. Both of these are meeting spaces for our scouts. The Livermore Pleasanton Elks Lodge is a charter partner, and they've been one of our charter partners for a very long time. They charter 4 separate units in Twin Valley, so we're very thankful to have them. The Dublin San Ramon Services District also is a meeting space for one of our troops, so we're very thankful that both of these are going to provide us that space. Now, how the heck are you supposed to get all this info, right? We talked about a flyer, we talked about resources. I also didn't mention we have a FAQ sheet, so there's going to be more information on why the council is taking the approach this year and the reasons and the benefits and why we think this is still going to help our community and still promote a good scouting for food opportunity, right? So I'm going to send this link out. So that's where you're going to get our flyer. That's where you're going to get that FAQ sheet. So where you're going to get additional resources if your scouts wanted to make those videos. And it's also going to show our community partners, including Alameda County Industries, who made a very generous donation, as well as all of our different food banks and how you can monetarily donate money to those food banks. So bing, bang, boom. Now I know I'm a fast talker. I know there's probably some questions in the chat. I have not been monitoring that box. So can anybody give me the lowdown? Do we need to go through any of the questions? Or are we good to keep going? Well, if there's no more questions, let's keep moving. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
So we'll let Mike pull up the slides there, and we'll move on to the next one. Tiger Cub Pumpkin Patch.
Tigers,
Roll.
others,
Roll. Is there anything you'd like to add to this, Jeff?
This is probably one of the top 3 events this council will ever do. You guys need to come out to this one. This one's going to be incredible. I know, Mr. Lindbergh, you're already working with Jones Pumpkin Patch, getting us in there. They know we're coming, and we're looking forward to seeing a lot of Cubs grab their pumpkins and enjoy a great Halloween.
Excellent. Okay, we'll go ahead and move on. Webelos Weekend. How do we get Webelos into the scouting world? It's a little bit harder into the Scouts BSA world. It's a little bit harder with the virus, but we have an alternative that's online. It's centered around Minecraft. It will be October 24th from 9 to 12. There's a QR code there where you can scan that and register. If you have any questions, you could direct them to Matt Lindbergh. And for those scouts that do not have the ability or desire to participate in a Minecraft sort of scouting activity, we will be holding a non-video game type activity in December. Matt, is there anything you'd like to add to this?
No, this is I will say I've never played Minecraft before, but I've heard it's really popular amongst the kids. So what we tried to do is just take an event that they'd be interested in. It's not another Zoom event, so it's kind of fun. It's interesting. We're still in the beginning stages of figuring how the heck to do it, but you know what? I got, a handful more days to figure it out. So a little faith, trust, and we'll see y'all there.
Okay.
Mr.
Excellent.
Worthman, you had a question?
I know traditionally if we had Webelos Weekend or Walkabout, the troops were giving an opportunity to intermingle with the Webelos to pitch their troop and try to drive membership for recruiting. Are we planning on doing any of those kind of events or any suggestions on what troops can do to achieve that same goal? As I understand, the Scouts and Webelos will not intermix with this. Is that correct?
Mr. Orthman, aren't you in our DOC? Don't you help plan these events? So listen, this event is going to have some troops and it's going to have some packs interacting together, right? Depends on how many troops we can get involved. It depends on how many packs we can get involved. I know that Keith Packard is also looking at still doing a Zoom style event in December that mimics previous years where we have the troops come in, they got 2 minutes to do a little spiel and they can talk on it. And then the Webelos can kind of ask and engage by any means. If somebody is interested in coordinating and starting another project that allows for packs and troops to intermingle in this COVID world, I am all ears and I am taking applications on your help. So thank you.
Hey, Matt, do you want to add that, and maybe this is for the Scouts BSA breakout, but when we do the virtual Webelos Weekend, I think ideally we would have multiple troops represented in that and having, I guess we'll call them Minecraft troop guides, but having additional scouts there from other troops would certainly make it more like a Webelos Weekend, and they can, scouts can virtually interact with scouts from those troops and help kind of that just be an additional interaction point other than just the December event. So we definitely want to have other scouts. So if you've got anyone in your troop who like to do Minecraft, would love to kind of help be essentially like an admin with the Webelos, we want to hear from you.
Great, thank you. Okay, Mike, we'll go ahead and move on. Wood Badge is still planned. There's 2 sessions, a spring and fall. And if you have any questions, or you go ahead and get a hold of Mike Ransom at SFBAC Wood Badge 2020 cd@gmail.com. Mike, is there anything you'd like to add?
Just that the admin staffs for both courses have been actively pursuing how we're going to make this a safe course, assuming that the some semblance of the COVID protocols will be in place. So we will be as safe as we possibly can. And we're looking forward to seeing all the scouters come out and take this great course.
Great, thank you. Okay, Mike, we'll go ahead and move on. 2 training opportunities coming up. Youth protection online with a being led by an instructor. Will be October 21st from 7 to 8. If you scan that code, that'll take you where you can sign up for the class. And then Mike Lennox also has a Scoutmaster, Assistant Scoutmaster's position specific training Saturday, October the 10th from 9 to no later than 12:30. And this was the training that Mike had lined up for, I believe it was last weekend, and there's only a few participants, so he asked that we would slide it to after Roundtable, hopefully get a few more Scoutmasters and Assistant Scoutmasters interested in attending. I didn't see that Lennox was online, so if you are, Mike, if you have anything you want to add.
I am here.
Okay.
We're running the training Saturday, rain or shine. So if you've got Scoutmasters, Assistant Scoutmasters who need to get trained position specific, send them my way. It's on the training calendar, or have them reach out to me directly.
Great, thank you. Okay.
Mike, quick question for you. What location is that at?
That is at the friendly Zoom confines. So it is a virtual session, and I said it's going to end by 12:30 because I don't know how long it will take, because the first time we've done this virtually. So it won't go the full time it usually goes, because there's a lot of stuff we can't do, but we're going to have fun. We're going to learn some things. So if you've got folks who need it, send them to me.
Great, thank you. Okay, Mike, go ahead and let's move on to the next one. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our breakout sessions. If you have not already done so,